I'm Josh and welcome to day 4 of 12 days of Vlogmas. In this video, I'm going to be telling you my favorite authors of 2020. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you the authors that I found were my favorite of this year. I'm not going to say they're my favorite of all time, although if I were to think about that, there will probably be a lot of overlap. But these authors that I've read at least twice and that I thoroughly loved. There were other authors that I would love to include on this list that I can't because I did not read more of them. So with that in mind, let's talk about the authors I have read and love. The first one is going to be none other than Shannon McGuire. Shannon McGuire is a new all-time favorite. That is for sure, full stop. I read Middle Game, I fell in love. I read the Royal Children's series and I fell in love. And now I plan on reading all of her books. Her writing style is just kiss. It's so good. I love it so much. And I also love how when I did a reading vlog for her newest book, Over the Woodward Wall, she watched my reading vlog and she shared it via tweet, and she even replied to my tweet that I made saying that this was quote unquote charming. And I will never get over the fact that she watched it, let alone called it charming. And she is just so amazing in so many ways. I absolutely adore her. Next up is Mary Robinette Kowal, who is the author of the Lady Astronauts of Mars. And honestly, that's the only series by her I've read, but I do have several other books by her that I want to read. I am not as ecstatic about her as I am for Shannon McGuire, but I do thoroughly like her. I have joined her Patreon. I think I may have joined Shannon McGuire's too. But with that, I've been able to participate on occasion in Mary Robinette Kowal's Patreon Zoom meetings, so I've been able to interact with her and talk to her. She's very nice, by the way, very nice. And also her voice, as a narrator, she's a narrator. Her voice is fantastic. And in fact, that's how I originally found her. I first heard her on an audiobook, but I also wanted her book, Calculating Stars, because it won a Hugo Award. By the way, check those out. So good. I reread all those books this year. Even her newest book I read twice. And I read them all during the reading rush. And that was such a phenomenal experience. I absolutely adore her. I adore her narration and I adore her writing, and particularly that one series. Next up is Octavia Butler. I'm sure we're all familiar with her. If you're not, dear God, you should look her up. She is one of the founding mothers, I guess, of sci-fi, in my opinion, and she is so well known in the speculative fiction community, and her books are very profound, very well done, and I have loved all of them. There was one book that I read the first time I did not love, but even after rereading it, I fell in love with it. And I will be continuing in the Octavia Butler slow read because she is so phenomenal. I would put her books in among my most favorite. Kindred is in the top 5, potentially fighting for the first spot in my favorite books. Next is going to be A.S. King, which is akin to Shannon McGuire in the sense that I found out about her this year. That's not true. I read her first book last year as well as Shannon McGuire, but I really dug into both of them this year and I fell in love with her writing style. Her writing is just so well done. She's one of the rare cases where I enjoy reading YA, which is something that I tend to struggle with, finding authors that work for me. And I like it because her writing is it's surreal, and the surrealness gives it the weird twist that I really like, but it's also profound that she has so much to actually say, and she says it in such a beautiful way. Next up is Roxane Gay, who I think I read several of her nonfiction works this year, and her writing is witty, and it is moving, and it is fantastic. So I had to include her here because probably one of my favorite nonfiction writers, honestly. I particularly love Hunger. It is so raw and honest, but also, I don't know, just very witty and funny at times. And then lastly, I decided to include Isabel Wilkerson here. If I do this video again in future years, by definition, she won't be on that list because I'm talking about authors I read in a year. And I read both of her books. I'm not sure if she had more than 2, but I read The One with Other Sons and I read Cast. Published 10 years apart, but I read them 10 months apart, and I absolutely adored both of them. They were both very amazing books, very educational, very well written, and about a particular part of history that is really overlooked or ignored and that needs to be talked about. I don't know why I keep doing this, but I am, so I'm going to stop. even though I don't want to. And those are my favorite authors of 2020. I wish I could say why. Like, there are other authors that I liked, some that I just haven't read enough of, but these are just authors that really stick out to me as being the best of 2020 in my not so humble opinion. Okay, thank you so much for watching yet again another day of Vlogmas. I hope you have a great day. Let me know who your favorite author is of this year, or ever for that matter. And as always, I will see you tomorrow for the next day of Vlogmas.